wanted to talk about this topic because I felt like a lot of people are struggling, and by a lot of people I mean myself. Today's video is going to be about growing up. I wanted to make this video because I feel like a lot of people are struggling to get through the hard times while they're growing up, and then I found that a lot of things were coming up for me as well in terms of things I didn't expect and things that I kind of just picked up and learned along the way. So I want to share that with you today. If this lighting is a little bit strange because it's a cloudy day, but for some reason the lighting is really intense. I feel like I got one of those makeup guru ring lights shining upon my face. And as always, if you don't subscribe to me already, please click the subscribe button so that you can see more videos from me. If you don't already follow me on Instagram and Twitter and all that social media jazz, I will link it down below in the little description part. And of course, I will put it right here for you to easy peasily follow me. I have 5 points that I'm going to share with you, and I hope that there are things you haven't heard before because I don't want to be boring. So without further ado, let's get started. Let's get right to the nitty-gritty stuff. Let's learn why growing up sucks. Schooling, education, being a student, anything of that sort. I wanted to talk about education not because I don't think it's not important, but because I feel like the landscape of the world has actually changed quite a bit since the introduction of the internet. A lot of people actually don't need to go through that traditional route to reach the dream career that they want. For example, I studied marketing at a university, and although a lot of things I do thank my education for, I feel like a lot of the things I just learned along the way. My dream is to be a life coach slash creative director slash content creator. I've never said that on camera before. It's a little weird, but it's also really cool because I'm a huge advocate of just faking it until you make it. If you want to be a certain occupation, just say to other people and to yourself that you are that. You are already that, and it will slowly manifest itself in your life. Trust me. Anyways, back to the education part. Like I said, a lot of things are changing in today's world because of technology and the internet. I feel like a lot of times we get guidance from our parents to go to school, and then after you go to high school, obviously the natural next step is to go to university or college or some sort of post-secondary education. I think unless you're aiming to become a lawyer or a doctor or a professor in academia, then there's really no reason for you to have to go to school. I realized after I graduated, even though I learned a lot of important things in school, I still had to go through an entire learning process from point zero. What I'm trying to say is you could potentially save a lot of time if you already know exactly what you want to do. There's really no point in giving into peer pressure or the pressure of your parents to go learn at an institution for something that you don't feel passionate about, because that's going to show throughout your studies, and then you're not going to try as hard, then you're probably not going to do well, and then you're probably not going to get a job that gives you satisfaction, and then in the end you won't make as much money because you're just not going to be as good at something you're not fit for. If you already have a passion that you are very set on, you already know it's going to make you happy and that you're good at it, I would almost just go straight into it after high school, because you get an extra 4 or 5 years compared to other people to build that dream. Those years are going to pay off, and you probably get to enjoy the dreams that you think about every single day way sooner than everyone else. Moving on to the second point. Change. Change is freaking hard and present, and she's here. She's wreaking havoc, but she's not going anywhere. Even though people tell you that, you know, change is always going to happen, it's going to be hard, you don't realize that it's the truth, girl. Excuse me. They aren't lying. Change is always going to freaking happen. A little story about me. So after I graduated, I thought, you know, I put in the work. I really did put in the work. I worked almost every single break I had during school. I even did internships while I was in school and also out of school during summer breaks. I attended clubs for extracurricular activities. I had a social life. I networked. I honestly am very proud of myself for all the work that I put in all those years. But let me tell you, that doesn't mean you're exempt. If you're one of those people who work really hard and you still feel like, you know, life's not treating you right, you thought you were beating the system, you don't really get to be exempt from life. And life meaning having to deal with change, having to deal with trauma and loss that comes along the way. And that was one of the harder lessons that I had to personally learn. For example, after I graduated, I had thought that I wouldn't have to deal with as much stress and trauma as everyone else, because at that point I had already dealt with the death of a family member, and as well I have moved to several countries to work. I've learned how to live on my own in a really foreign landscape. How do I say this? I realized that I wasn't special and I wasn't exempt from a lot of the things that life throws at you. I still went through a huge phase of self-doubt, anxiety, depression right after graduation because it was new. I was a student for 15 years and I forgot that just because I work hard at life and I seem to be ticking all the boxes on my little to-do list, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to feel the impact of certain changes and transitional periods in life. If you're someone around my age, 22 to 25, or even up until you're 30, this period is going to hold a lot of changes, and it's going to be probably harder than you think. And sometimes if you feel like you aren't able to handle that, it's fine to ask for support and help. Honestly, I think this was one of the biggest lessons I also learned in the past year, is to look around you. There's a lot of people who are supporting you. You don't have to do this all alone. And so if you need help, just reach out to people. You would be shocked how willing and open and loving people actually are. I feel like the next topic is a tricky one because friends are so specific to your situation and they're also specific to your life. One thing people say is that people come and go in your life, and some people stay for a reason and some people stay for a season. I am not a poet, but I guess I am now. If you're one of those people who are like all our fellow Taurus friends, those people, aka Tauruses, I'm looking at you, some of those friends need to go. I'm just gonna be real with you. I never really placed a huge value on friends. I had friends that I enjoyed doing different things with, like going out and drinking, or wanting to watch a movie, or texting about memes. But I never really felt like there was a specific person or group of people that really got to see all parts of me and that I could share a lot of my emotions and hardships with. Mainly because I just didn't invest in them, and that probably showed, and so they probably didn't invest in me. Life is about give and take, and that makes sense. And that's recently changed. I have a group of friends that I honestly love and can call family. But at the same time, I feel like everyone's life is so different, and there's going to be change in their lives as well as your life. And a lot of times it's just not going to correlate. This point is a funny one because as you adult and as you feel more of yourself and you're doing your thing and you're just glowing up, I bet you that there's going to be a lot of people who come crawling back into your life, and they're going to pop up out of nowhere, maybe in a Facebook message or an Instagram DM. They're basically going to just try to benefit from your life, even though they haven't been in your life for about the last few years. And you know, no shade, I understand everybody's trying to network and to take those steps to meet people who you feel like, you know, maybe you didn't resonate when you were in high school because you're all stupid little teenagers trying to please everybody. But when you're an adult, you're probably more aware of who you are, and you might even have more in common to that person that you didn't like in high school than you think. But it's important how you approach people, because honestly, karma is a thing, and if you didn't treat people well, first of all, I would probably apologize. But if you're one of those people who are living unconventionally and paving your own path and doing, you know, cool things in life, people are going to want to get a piece of that. And it's important to be kind and to be understanding and to be empathetic when dealing with people who might have wronged you in the past but now want to apologize, or they now want to be part of your life. However, you don't owe people anything, and this is your life. And if they really do have something to offer back in return, whether that be a friendship, business contact, or work opportunities or something, I would just be really, really careful, because a lot of times people who do this kind of thing are just out to benefit from you and not really give you anything in return. So just be careful. If you're somebody who's like me, you're probably going to feel like helping them regardless, but just keep in mind that it might not be at your benefit. Last point is short and simple. People have talked about it a lot, and it's that timelines are bullshit, because you could be living your life perfectly exactly to your timeline, and right before you think you're going to get that big breakthrough, you get severely sick, or someone passes away, or someone important in your life, or you need to move to another country, or you get let go from your job. Anything can literally happen at any moment in your life. So just don't be too set on where you see your life going, because a lot of times even greater things are waiting for you. And if you hold on so tightly to that exact thing that you had planned for when you turn 25 years old, getting married and having a family when you're 30, it might happen at 32 instead of 30. Or if you're stressed out and depressed about not being able to create that exact situation in your life at that exact time, you're literally doing yourself a disservice. That's all I have for today. I hope it was helpful, and hopefully you were able to feel less alone in your journey if you are still within, you know, this age range where you're feeling a little bit confused, needing a little bit of support, needing a little bit of loving. If you want to talk about it with me, send me a DM on Instagram or comment down below. So feel free to share. I love hearing about other people's experiences and how I can also learn from them. And as always, if you don't already, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I'm putting it right here, also linked down below, of course. Please don't forget to subscribe and like this video so that I know you want to watch more of these types of videos. And until next time, stay iconic.